Heidi ho there, friends and neighbors. Bobby here tonight. Hey folks, tonight we're going to start on a brake job on a 2005 Buick LaCrosse. It's going to be unlike most brake jobs. We're going to take it to another level. Come right over here. Okay, we got new rotors for this car and we got new pads, okay? And the pads that we're using is a CarQuest Wear Over Platinum Professional Series. I've used these in the past and had pretty good success on customers' cars, so I decided I'd try them out on my car. What we're going to do as the extra thing, we've got some black engine enamel here, and we're going to clean these rotors up real good, brake clean. We're going to paint this hub here, and we're going to try to paint around the fins of these rotors, so that after you put a few miles on it, it won't start rusting, because you can actually see that through the wheels and it looks terrible. So we're going to try to make that look nice. We're also going to paint our calipers and our caliper brackets in this video. And if you've seen our previous video leading into this one, we've already cleaned everything with the pressure washer and purple power and everything. And also there will be links on this video to take you to the rear brake job video that we're going to do, and like the cleaning video and everything. So stay tuned. We're going to get started tearing these brakes apart. Okay friends, we're going to start here with the left front wheel. We've got our 3/8 air ratchet here and a 15mm 3/8 drive swivel socket. We'll go and pull both of these caliper bolts out. Okay, we're going to go and pull these out. Pay close attention to your pins when they come out. If you'll notice, the upper one has a little rubber bushing here on the end. So when you lay them aside, just make sure you remember how you took them out and put them back the same way. Okay, now we're going to hang the caliper up just to get it out of the way. And what I've got here is just an old coat hanger that I've already cut and bent. I'm going to reach up here and hook it around the coil spring. Kind of bend that over a little bit. And then I'm going to grab my caliper off of here. If I can, okay. And I'm going to stick my wire through here and hang my caliper up here so it's out of the way, and you're not putting a lot of stress on your brake line by just letting it hang, because you can actually damage the brake line that way. Next, we'll use our 1/2" drive impact wrench with a adapter and our same socket, the 15mm swivel. And we're going to reach in here and take these two caliper bracket bolts out. And now we can lay our caliper bracket on the ground. Okay, now all that's left is just to take the rotor off and we'll lay it on the ground. Now we're to the point where we're going to start cleaning up our caliper bracket and our caliper, and we'll start getting them ready for paint. Okay folks, hey, we're getting ready to paint our new rotors. If you want to bring the camera down here, I'm going to show the good people what we're doing here. We've taken a rag and some brake cleaner, and we've already wiped off the surface of both of these rotors, front and back, get them nice and clean and oil free. And I made a little template here that we will actually place over the rotor to where we can spray just the hubs. And also got a paint roller here, and I'll show you a little trick where you can paint the edges without getting paint all over your surface that your pad rides on. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint these edges. And just take your engine enamel, just spray it right onto your paint roller. I'm going to load it up pretty good. I'm going to do this pretty fast. We're going to turn our rotor up here, and we're just going to kind of get us a nice little coat on our edge of our rotor all the way around. Okay, I think that's one good coat on that rotor there. We're going to go and load our roller up here again with some paint. And we're going to go ahead and try to get a coat on this other rotor here. Okay, now it's set for a few minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and load our roller one more time and apply a second coat. And I think that should be enough. So let's go ahead and get a second coat on these things. Okay, we got the edges painted pretty good with 2 coats. We're going to lay our template right over top of the rotor here and go ahead and start spraying these hubs. Okay, we got one coat on that rotor there, so we moved over to our second rotor. And friends, a quick little tip when painting, always keep the can moving, okay? So you don't end up getting a whole bunch in one spot and end up having runs. Okay folks, we're putting our second and final coat on these hubs, so we should be done here shortly. Okay friends, hey, that's 2 coats on each one of these front rotors, and that's going to be just about it. We'll allow them to dry good, and we're going to go ahead and move on to cleaning up and getting our calipers and caliper bracket painted. Okay friends, on these front brakes here, first thing we're going to do before we start painting our calipers and our other hardware is we'll go ahead and press back our pistons, so we won't have to do it when it has the wet paint. So I'm going to take my C-clamp and an old brake pad, and we're going to get this on here, and we're going to start squeezing our piston back. Folks, earlier we took a can of brake clean and a rag, and we actually went ahead and wiped these calipers down one more time. As you remember from the video, we cleaned them pretty good with a pressure washer, but I wiped some more crud off of there with just the brake clean and the rag. I'm gonna go ahead and flip this caliper. We're gonna start painting. We got our high temperature engine paint, and I'm just gonna put probably just 1 coat on this inside that you won't ever even see anyway. So we're gonna go ahead and just get ourselves 1 little coat of paint in there, and on the back side of our caliper, as good as we can here. Alright, now we will go ahead and actually I'm just going to let that sit just a minute. Now that we've let that first little coat on the inside tack up a minute, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of get the back side of the caliper a little bit better, and then we can actually lay this down and put a couple nice coats on the outside of the caliper, which is the part that we're going to see the most anyway. So I think we're about there. Let me just position this just a little bit. We'll go ahead and get our first full coat on the caliper here. Make sure we get much of it as we can, so we end up having a nice looking painted caliper. Okay, that's it for the first coat. Okay, now for our second coat, this is tacked up. We're just going to try to get the outside here, the part that's actually visible. We'll try to get 1 nice coat on that, and then we'll call it a completed brake caliper. Folks, now that we've got our front calipers actually painted and we're going to wait on them to dry, let's go ahead and work on these caliper brackets. Now earlier, I took a wire brush right here. I took the old stainless clips that are on the calipers off, and I wire brushed these surfaces really good, get all the old brake dust and stuff out from underneath there, because we got brand new clips that come with our pads that we're going to put in place. We wiped them down with brake clean, cleaned them up really good. We actually masked up our little boots here with some masking tape. And let's go ahead and get our first coat on here. I'm going to flip them upside down. We're going to get 1 coat in here on the part that you won't see very much, and then we'll flip it over and we will get the rest of it painted up pretty good. We'll go over here on this one. I think this brake job will look nice when we're done. Okay, we got the underside coated with 1 good coat. We'll go ahead and put our first coat on the outside stuff, the stuff that you will more prominently see. Get our first coat on all that. Now with the caliper brackets painted, the calipers are painted, we're going to let this stuff sit overnight, and we'll get this back together for you tomorrow. Okay friends, hey, it's the next day and we're getting ready to put these brakes back together and bring conclusion to this video. So let's take a look over here. All our parts are we painted yesterday. They're nice and dry and we can handle them with no problem. First thing we're going to do, we're going to take the brand new stainless clips here that come with our brake pad kit. We're going to pop those in place on our caliper bracket on both sides. Okay, those are nicely in place. We're going to take a little bit of the lubricant that come with that brake pad kit, and we're just going to put a little bit on our finger, and we're going to grab this, and we're just going to put just a little thin layer of this grease on these stainless clips here, just so the pads can slide nicely instead of getting in a bind. Okay, so we just put a little bit of grease on there. Not a whole lot. You don't want so much grease on there that it'll get hot and melt down on your rotor. Just a little bit of lubricant is all you need. Okay. Now let's talk about these our brake pads here right quick. Like I told you earlier, they're made by CarQuest. It's a wear over Platinum Professional Series. On the inside of these pads here, you notice these two white stripes. It's like a burnishing compound that they put on there to supposedly to help the pad break in better with the rotor. We'll see if we can find some of these online, and we'll put a link down below if you want to try some of these pads yourself. I've tried them on customers' cars. We've had real good luck with them. No comebacks, so hopefully they'll do well for me on my car. Okay, folks, hey, first thing we're going to do, we're going to take our new rotor, and we're going to put it on the car, and notice how it keeps wanting to go fall like that way. Here's a little trick. Take a little pair of needle nose pliers, push it up on there straight, and then at the bottom just grab one of the studs and just squeeze it. You don't have to clamp it real hard. You don't want to mess up the threads on your stud, but that'll hold your rotor in place while you assemble the rest of the brakes. Now we have our caliper bracket. We're going to go ahead and sit it in place, and we got our two 15mm headed bolts here, and we're going to go ahead and just start these by hand. Make sure you get the threads turned in there by hand. Now we're going to take our 15mm swivel socket on our 3/8 air ratchet, and we're going to go ahead and tighten down both of these bolts. Now we've grabbed our torque wrench and we've set it on 85 foot-pounds. We're going to go ahead and put it on our upper bolt. And now for our lower bolt. Okay, now we're going to install our brake pads. Notice that there's a squealer here on the outer pad. Let's go and put it in place first. Okay, there's our outer pad installed. Now for our inner. Okay, there we go. Next, we will take our caliper and we will set it in place. Make sure you take your little rubber boots here and push them past the ear of the caliper, upper and lower as well. And then should be able to wiggle it. It should go right into place. Okay, next we're going to take this 3M silicone paste and we're going to lube our caliper pin. So we're going to put our upper one in first. Remember, the upper one was the one with the little rubber piece at the end of it. So go ahead and lube up your caliper pin really good. That should be good right there. And we'll go ahead and stick it in place. Okay, there we go. And we'll go ahead and do our lower one the same way. Put a little bit of that good grease on there. And then we should be able to install that as well. Okay, that looks good. Okay. Now with our 15mm swivel socket and the 3/8 air ratchet, we're going to go ahead and tighten down these caliper pin bolts. There's our upper one, and for the bottom one. Now with our caliper pins installed, we're going to torque these down to 60 foot-pounds using the same setup as we used on the caliper bracket for the upper one and the lower one as well. Okay friends, hey, that wraps it up today for our video on doing the custom brake job on the front of our Buick LaCrosse. I hope you found it helpful and informational. Don't forget to like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and we will be bringing more and more how-to videos to you soon. We're trying to do one every day now, okay? And don't forget to take a look down below in our description. We may have some links down there to some of the parts that we used in this video today. Take care, friends, and we will see you next time.